This is WStewart from OnlineChessLessons.net, and I'm playing a little blitz chess here. So I decided to open with the flexible knight f3 and c4. So you see a lot of people play this knight f3 and c4 because it's so flexible. And here, I think I'm just going to go ahead and avoid the main lines against the King's Indian and go for this queenside fianchetto here. And I think the double fianchetto, I don't know, I've always been a big fan of the hedgehog and this kind of flexible plans. So he's going for more of a Slav, putting the pawns and controlling the light squares in the center. But I don't really think this is the best plan for black against this. I think it was better to activate and develop his knight. So now maybe I'm trying to angle, so he's angling for my bishop, but this is a weird plan. So I think for me, he should probably play h5 here, because if not, I'm going to play g4. But even still, this queen c8 stuff is weird. He should have played, he should have developed his knight a6 to c5 or something, trying to prevent me from playing e4. And it looks like he's trying to do that now, but maybe a little too late. I mean, I think g4 here, maybe even maybe e4 is a little too fast. So my candidate moves, what are they? I mean, knight e5, e4 is possible. E4 is definitely quite possible. Probably I think the smartest move is probably to castle, because e4 is not going anywhere. You know, and I would like to make him play some committal moves. So, okay, so we're going to commit to this. Trade the dark square bishops. That's got to be good for me. You know, it's got to weaken his king. And so, yeah, I guess I got to take it. Anything knight e5, sacking the pawn, none of that makes sense. Maybe I can play rook c1 and pressure him on the c file. And here, king h2, I guess he can play queen c7. Maybe king h2. I just didn't really want to play h4 because it just gives him such an easy target. So maybe this was not, I mean, if I could just play knight e5, then queen c7, f4, and I'm okay. You know, if I can just, queen c7, I just play king h1. It's not the end of the world. But definitely, I'm going to play rook c1. So I feel like here I've got to be playing for, I don't know if I get my knight on e4, but it seems like I'll go with the strong center here. That was I wanted to get my knight on e4. Would have been very well placed, but then he's got his knight on c5, which is a good spot. Now maybe it's a little more difficult. Okay, so now I can't play knight e5 because he just plays f6. So I've got to go back. So I was worried about that. But still, the fact that I didn't have to play h4 is significant because my king is that much safer. So probably just, I mean, what's his plan here? Bishop f5, then I can't play e4 directly? It seems to be. So I would guess, I gotta just play rook c1. There's no doubt. Maybe if bishop f5, maybe queen e1 is possible. Yeah, okay. Now he's got queen d7. No, queen d7 is not that bad. Maybe not that bad. I was thinking I could play knight to e5. Okay, he didn't even do it. So, I was thinking about how to kick that knight, how to play e4. Maybe I just get a little wild in the center. b4, he plays knight to e6. Then e4, I just win a piece. b4 is definitely the move. So I'm about to buck at him in the center. That's guaranteed. So b4 first, then e4 to kick him back. The thing is, I don't want to trade. I don't want to let him trade. That's critical. Maybe, I don't know, I'd like to play f4 and push my f-pawn. Well, maybe I'm going to go b5. Sure looks interesting. But what about just keeping it simple? Whatever happened to just keeping it simple? Just centralize the queen. Yeah, I thought he would want to trade. It definitely helps him out to every trade, really does. And I'd like to keep my center pawns in the tension on the c file. And also trying to prevent knight e5, letting him trade more. Because I'll end up playing f4 at the end of that. And maybe d4 as well. So here I think he's got knight e6. But then I think I'll just play e5. I think I'm doing well here, but I'm a little low on time. Okay, so it's got to be e5. Ooh. I don't even know. This is getting complicated. Queen c1. I don't even know what's going on. If I can just get my knight to d2, g5 is weak. Okay, he activates his queen. Play a4. So just got to get my rook back in the game. Yikes. I really didn't want to trade queens. Now he's got knight f4. I'm in some trouble here. Knight f4. Well, no. Knight f4 I can play queen takes b7 maybe. Depends. Knight ef4. Maybe I can play d4. I see some resourcefulness. But I got to get even with him on time. Yeah, queen takes b7 is threatened. Okay, played that knight. So was it queen takes b7 here? You know what? I think this is an improvement. Because now my rook is a little more active. It's going to be a time scramble. But, you know, I still feel like maybe if I ever get my rook out, you know, if I can get my minor pieces somehow, this is going to be pretty tough. I'm just going to try to flag him. Maybe I got the a pawn. Oh, yikes. Gotta take it. But at least I got the rook out. Oh. I should be able to make a fortress and get a draw here. I'd still like to win, but I just don't think it's realistic anymore. Oh no, the check. It's coming down to the wire. I think I can make a fortress. As long as I can take his pawn, my rook gets to e3. Ooh, he's making it tougher. I need to consolidate. He had queen g3. I think that was better. But maybe this is a draw. I'm going to try to flag him anyway. I'm trying to win now. Gotta be careful I don't get mated. That'll do it. That game was nuts. This guy was crazy. So it started with a double fianchetto. He's playing some weird opening. I mean, the guy just confused me. I like the double fianchetto. I got the G4. Then he plays H5. I tried to maintain the integrity of my kingside pawns as well as I could by playing King H2 instead of playing H4 to defend the H3 pawn. And but that gave him the check, but my pawns were a little better there. So Queen E1, B4, and I tried to push him back really far. But I just underestimated Knight E6, and now E5, and E5 gave him the critical D5 square. So maybe here, you know, this is a very tough position. Maybe I don't even know. This is just, I think maybe black is a little better here because he's got control of the F4 square. And it just looks like I can't get there in time. So I tried E5, but then my rook got stuck in the corner. I was trying to play real actively. And I think this was a good move. I think rook C1 here because it forced, and now my rook is more active. You know, I kicked his queen off the square. Now it just, I don't know. I think this should have been a draw. You know, because I got the rook and the bishop. I ended up trading, but even with the rook and the knight here, this position is, yeah, this is a draw. I mean, I don't think there's any way. It is a little bit tricky for white, and then I just flagged him because we were low on time. But yeah, I mean, the end game there, you know, theoretically is like a little bit more difficult for white, but honestly, there's some theoretical draws that are similar to that position without the knight. So it's equal pawns and white with the rook against the queen, and that's kind of what I was referring to here. As soon as we got to this part of the endgame, where I said I got to get my rook to E3, because I knew that was going to be a draw, some kind of lines like that where you construct a fortress where the queen can't penetrate or pick off any of those pawns. So this is Will Stewart from OnlineChessLessons.net, and thanks for tuning in.